How's it going again, Guardians? LVnative here with another Destiny video. In today's video, we are going to be doing an addition to my Good Roll, God Roll series with a weapon review for a fairly tough to get scout rifle known as the Treads Upon Stars. Now, this came out with the Taken King, and the base stats are as follows. Starting things off, we have a rate of fire of 37 with an impact of 48. Putting this in the same class and feel of weapon as the good old Vision of Confluence from the Vault of Glass raid. For a more recent example of this archetype of weapon, look no further than the Hung Jury. Has a very similar feel to that. We got a range of 66, a stability of 38, making it the lowest in class with this archetype of stability. That's its big weak point, and a reload of 66. Now, whether or not this weapon is going to be good for you is largely going to be dependent on what rolls you get. Let's take a look at what I have. For our sights, I've got the focus lens FLS2, not too bad. The range lens RLR5, going to give you that super long range scope for that. And you also have the quick draw IS, the agile sight, and lightning fast handling. Out of these three, I'm not a big fan of any of them, but I do kind of like the focus lens. Just works a little better for me. In the next slot, we have Eye of the Storm. This weapon becomes more accurate as your health gets lower. Again, not my favorite perk for that particular slot. I can think of quite a few others I would rather have instead. For the next tree of perks, I have Perfect Balance, which is desperately needed, something for stability, considering how low it is. In fact, if I go ahead and take off the Perfect Balance, just so you can see where that stability is naturally, it is very low. In fact, for this archetype of weapon, for this rate of fire and impact, it is the lowest base stability. So this weapon desperately has to have something to help with its stability. Perfect Balance is not bad. I think best in slot would be Hand-Laid Stock. At the cost of a little bit of range, it will give you the best stability increase. Moving on to the final column here, I have got Outlaw. I am perfectly fine with that. It is one of my favorite perks to have on any weapon, scout rifles included. I also like Firefly in this slot, especially for PvE. Huge fan of Firefly. I just love blowing things up, and I'm sure most of you guys do as well. So this by all means is not a terrible weapon, and the roll I have on it is pretty decent. I think the roll pretty more suits to a PvE style of play, and in general I think that's where this weapon shines a little bit more. You can stay at a distance and put a lot of damage on your bosses or just large groups of enemies while you're at relatively safe range. That tends to be the case for a lot of scout rifles as well. For PvP, this one is not bad. It's kind of middle of the road. It is not the worst, but it is definitely not the best out there, and it is very dependent on perks. I wouldn't even attempt to bring this into PvP without something that helps out its stability, for one. I do have Perfect Balance, so that does help a little bit. Hand-Laid Stock, like I said before, I think would be perfect for it, but even then you're still going to want a couple of other decent perks to make this a viable PvP weapon. The main issue that this weapon runs into in PvP is, one, yes, it is very dependent on what type of perks you have, but two, there's just too much good competition for the same type of weapon. There are scout rifles that are dominating Crucible right now. Mida Multi-Tool, of course, that's a very popular one, and also will be able to kill in the same 4 headshots, but has a much faster fire rate, and is also going to give you that movement, increase. But even if you're not talking about exotics, other legendaries are going to outclass it as well. Stuff like the Convalance's Duty for, that little bit slower fire rate, but, 3 headshot kill weapon. In the right hands, that is an extremely deadly weapon if you're really accurate with your shots. Or even on the other extreme end of the spectrum, the Suros Dis 47, the very faster fire rate and lower impact, is going to be able to melt targets a little bit quicker than this one can as well. By no means is it bad, but let's even take another weapon in the exact same rate of fire and impact class with the Hung Jury from Dead Orbit. That one is, it's very similar in stats, except it has a much higher stability and even a little bit better aim assist than this as well. So everything about it is okay, but it just gets outclassed by so many other weapons. Now, that doesn't mean that it is a bad weapon. If you have one and you like the feel of it and you have a really good set of perks on your roll, by all means, go ahead and use it. I just think that there are going to be more viable options out there for you. Now, how do you get your hands on this weapon, you might ask? So it is a strike-specific reward at the end of any Cabal strike, where there's a Cabal, as the boss at the end. So we're talking the Shield Brothers, the Servius Ve 3, or the Scions. It has a chance to drop from any of those. This particular one I've had in my inventory for a long time. Believe I picked it up from killing the Scions long time ago, pretty shortly after the launch of the Taken King. And it's just kind of been sitting in my vault for most of that time, just because I've had other scout rifles that I prefer. Like I said, I hate to sound like I'm dogging on it, because the weapon is still good and viable and pretty fun to use. It's just right now, there are so many strong contenders for scout rifles that I just think you might find one that you like a little bit better out there. That's really going to do it. I don't have, a lot else to say about this weapon. It's pretty rare. Not everyone has it, especially if you don't like to run strikes all the time. But, if you don't have a real viable scout rifle right now, and you happen to get this one to drop and it's got a good set of perks, by all means, have fun using it. It is not a bad weapon. But once you start getting a little bit higher tier of scout rifles in your inventory, you're probably going to find that you move on to that. So that's going to pretty much do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this weapon. I don't think I have to throw this out here at the end, but I'm still going to, since it is good roll, God roll. You let me know. Is this a good roll or is this a God roll that I have? Again, I think it's just a pretty good roll. By no means is it a God roll, but maybe you do have one that you think is the God roll. So in the comment section down below, let me know what type of perks you have and if you think that that's a God roll as well. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, go ahead and smack that thumbs up for me. It really helps me out. Also, if this is your first time to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. We got a lot of great videos coming in the near future, especially right around the corner. We got the Rise of Iron coming out. I'm going to be doing a ton of videos on it. As far as going over the content, of course, I'll be doing reviews on the new weapons and armors and everything that you can get. It's a lot of fun, a lot of information going to be coming out, and I think we're going to have a good time doing it. So that's going to do it. As always, this is LVnative. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and smack that like button and leave a comment in the section down below. Also, if this is your first time to this channel, please do not hesitate to subscribe for more great videos like this in the future. As always, this is LVnative, you guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next one.